Suppose total debts are rupees 9 lakhs, capital employed is equal to 12 lakh rupees, current liability is equal to 1 lakh rupees. Calculate debt equity ratio. You know, debt equity ratio is equal to debts upon equity. Debts means long-term loans upon shareholders' funds. Total debts rupees 9 lakhs. Total debts means long-term debts plus short-term debts. It means long-term debts plus short-term debts is equal to 9 lakhs. And it's clearly stated that current liabilities are rupees 1 lakh. Current liability means short-term debts, short-term liabilities. So long-term liabilities plus 1 lakh is equal to 9 lakh. Or we can say long-term loans or debts is equal to 9 lakhs minus 1 lakh. That is equal to 8 lakh rupees. So we have got the debts means long-term loans. Now we are looking for the equity. That is capital employed minus long-term loans. And capital employed as per this question is 12 lakhs minus long-term loans. Long-term loans are 8 lakh. It means equity is equal to 4 lakh rupees. So the ratio will be 8 lakhs upon 4 lakhs. That is 2:1. Suppose a firm purchased fixed assets on credit for 3 months. What will be the effect on debt equity ratio? So the best way is assume that debts are 20,000 and equity is 10,000 rupees. It means the original debt equity ratio is 2:1. Now the transaction is purchased fixed assets on credit of 3 months. Suppose this firm purchased furniture of rupees 1,000 for 3 months. So what will happen if the firm purchases furniture? It won't affect the debts. Debts means long-term debts. The firm has purchased furniture, but it has created short-term debts because this firm has to pay this money within 3 months. And moreover, it's not going to affect this equity. Equity can be increased only by profit or fresh capital. And equity can be decreased by withdrawal of capital or loss. So it means due to this transaction, equity won't be affected. So debts will remain 20,000 as it is, and in the same way, equity will remain 10,000 as it is. So ratio will be 2:1. It means this transaction won't affect the debt equity ratio. Let's take one more example. Suppose furniture is purchased on credit of 3 years. It means the company has or this firm has created long-term liability. Original ratio of the debt equity was 2:1, means debts were 20,000 and equity was 10,000 rupees. Furniture was purchased for rupees 1,000. If the furniture is purchased on credit, then what will happen? The company has created long-term debt of rupees 1,000. So debts will become 21,000, but this thing won't affect the equity, means equity will remain the same, rupees 10,000. So the new ratio will be 21:10, means 2.1:1. So this transaction will increase the debt equity ratio. Be careful, increase in debt equity ratio is not a good sign for the company. It means the company has created more debts as compared to its available equity. Now the situation is, what will be the effect of sale of furniture at profit? Means what will be the effect on debt equity ratio? Again, I'm going to assume that original debt equity ratio was 2:1. I mean to say debts were rupees 20,000 and equity was 10,000 of the company. And furniture has been sold at profit. So I'm going to assume that the cost of the furniture was 800 and it was sold for rupees 1,000, means at a profit of rupees 200. So what will happen? It won't affect the debts because debts can be increased if you create some long-term liability. Debts can be decreased if you pay off some long-term liability, but nothing is happening here due to this transaction. But the company has made profit of rupees 200 and the equity will increase by rupees 200. So the new figures will be 20,000 is to 10,200, means 200 is to 102, or I can say 1.9 is to 1. It means this transaction will decrease the debt equity ratio. Means it's a good sign for the company. Decrease in debt equity ratio means the debts have decreased as compared to equity. Now the question is, what will be the effect on debt equity ratio if shares are issued on cash? Again the same assumption. Suppose at present our debts are rupees 20,000 and equity is 10,000 rupees, means debt equity ratio is 2:1. When shares are issued for cash, on one side capital gets increased and on another side cash is increased. So debts don't get affected, it will remain 20,000 rupees, but equity will increase. Suppose I assume that shares were issued for rupees 1,000. So previously equity was for rupees 10,000 plus 1,000. Now equity will be 11,000 rupees. Means the new ratio will be 20:11, or I can say 1.9:1. It means this transaction will decrease the debt equity ratio. It means the debts will decrease as compared to equity. Now the next transaction is, what will be the effect on debt equity ratio if preference shares are redeemed? Redemption of preference share means decrease in the capital. Suppose debts are 20,000 and equity is for rupees 10,000, and at present the ratio is 2:1. When preference shares are redeemed, on one side the company will decrease its capital and on another side cash will be decreased. Means debts will remain as it is 20,000, but equity will decrease by rupees 1,000. So new equity will be 9,000 and new ratio will be 20:9, or I can say 2.2:1. In this way, if shares are redeemed, it will increase the debt equity ratio. Increase the debt equity ratio means the debts of the company will get increased as compared to equity. Next situation is, suppose debentures are redeemed for cash. Debentures means the company has taken loan from the public and the company has repaid its loan. Debentures means long-term loans from the public. So what will be the effect on debt equity ratio? The best way is you take the assumption, suppose the original ratio, I mean to say debt equity ratio is 2:1. Debts are rupees 20,000 and equity is rupees 10,000 and loan is repaid. So on one side, company will decrease long-term loans, means long-term debts, and on another side, company will decrease its cash. So previously debts were rupees 20,000. Suppose debentures of rupees 1,000 were redeemed, means repaid. Now the new debts will be rupees 19,000. But it won't affect the equity. Equity will remain as it is, means 10,000. So the new ratio will be 19,000 is to 10,000, or I can say 19 is to 10, or 1.9 is to 1. This transaction will decrease the debt equity ratio. It's a good thing for the company. It means debts will be decreased as compared to equity. Let's take one more situation. Declaration of dividend means the company has declared dividend. When the company declares dividend, it means the company has established a liability which is to be paid within 1 year. It means the company has created short-term liability. And on another side, the company has lost the profits of rupees 1,000. So debts are suppose 20,000, equity is 10,000. Debts will remain as it is, means 20 to 20, but equity will be reduced by rupees 1,000, means the new equity will be 9,000, because the company is going to lose profits from its books. So the new ratio will be 20 is to 9, or I can say 2.2 is to 1. It will increase the debt equity ratio. Not a good sign for the company. It means company is going to increase the debts as compared to equity.